Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hello and welcome to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and we will be going to your calls in just a moment. John, we're going to get to you after I introduce who's on the panel today. We've got licensed marriage and family therapist J.J. West and clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard. Looks like you guys are doing well today. Jill, what's on your mind?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
So something I was thinking about a bit is the idea of vicarious empathy and vicarious experience. Now, lots of times we talk to people, and the other end of the spectrum is they need more empathy and compassion, right? And some perspective taking, putting yourself in another person's shoes. But then we have vicarious empathy. And this is where, when we are close to people who have had some kind of experience, either traumatic or emotional in nature, we often can have similar feelings and feel things that are the person close to us is feeling. For example, recently we've had the California fires. People are still recovering. Those of us in Southern California, everybody knows somebody. We've seen pictures of the houses. There's kind of a vicarious experience. Now, my house didn't burn down, but people who are closer to us, we feel for them, right? So there's an empathy. That's a good thing. We want to feel because it leads us to compassion, to help, and to do things like that. Often, stereotypically, I think women, because we've got more connectors between the right and the left hemisphere, so we tend to, be the feelers more stereotypically, and so often we can take things on. We can take on, when something's happening to our best friend, it's like it's happening to us as well. Now, the problem arises when we take it on so much that it impacts our day-to-day life. And often you see with caregivers, there's something called compassion fatigue. And so we have to be careful, and we have to at times realize, okay, this is happening around me. This is happening to my dear friend. This isn't happening to me. Sometimes I was reminded recently, I had a client who has a lot of friends that are quite ill. And all of a sudden she's taking on these characteristics and she's worried she's got an illness or something. And so, this is where her empathy and then seeing things maybe that aren't quite there. And then we realized she had forgotten to take a medication for a few months that was maybe causing some of these symptoms. Yeah, for a couple of months.
Wow.
Yes, that was perhaps causing some of the similar symptoms. So I guess, just this whole idea of empathy. Empathy is good, and we want to be there for people, but we also have to take care of ourselves. Yeah. And not everything means the same thing, right? So stepping back, reflecting is a good thing to do.
I never even thought of that, I guess, that caregivers, people, nurses or people who work in nursing homes or, whatever the case might be, that they see this, round the clock. Sometimes they work these long 12-hour shifts, and then when they get home, they don't have time to deal with anybody's problem. Wow.
Right. Yeah, you can also get desensitized, and you don't want to do that. So it's this fine balance of maintaining empathy, being there for others, but doing the self-care needed.
Yeah, for sure. JJ, any quick thoughts from you?
Yeah, it was just the fact that not only nurses or people who work in the medical field, but people who work in therapy often experience compassion fatigue as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to practice good self-care.
All right, so John, we're going to get to you when we come back from the break here on New Life Live. Antonia as well. Don't hang up, you guys. We'll be with you in just a little bit here on New Life. And if you can't call in today, there are other ways to send in your question. You can find out about them on newlife.com/radio.
Restore gave me strength. It gave me more belief in my faith. I met up with a group of women that are going through things that they had no control over.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, May 2nd through the 4th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I had a great experience at Restore.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Dr. Jill Hubbard mentioned the fires going on in California, and that reminds me of a couple of tip sheets that we have available that you can get for free when you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. One's called 10 Ways to Help People in Crisis, and the other one is 10 Tips When Disaster Strikes. So you can get those by calling us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I do have clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard here, as well as licensed marriage and family therapist J.J. West. And if we're ready, we shall proceed with the calls. Here is John in Reading, Pennsylvania, listening on WFIL. Hello, John.
Yes, hello, hi. Yeah, it's Reading, Pennsylvania, and hi. Nice to
Thank
talk
you.
to
I've never been there.
Reading
Looks
or
like
Reading?
Reading,
Yeah.
but I guess it's Reading. Okay.
I don't know why I do that. I should just let people say what they want. But,
No. I love correction.
It's a sister city of Reading, England. Okay, that's its history.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it comes from.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, and they do a lot of that back here in this part of the country. I lived in California for 30 years, and I got to see both sides, and now I understand a little bit more about how and why things are happening that way. England had sister cities here that was part of their ownership of the United States.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
So what's going on with you? Why'd you decide to call us today on New Life Live?
Well, my question has been, my father's 95, my mother's 94. They've been fantastic. They brought 8 children into the world, raised 7, had a sister that passed away. My father was a Protestant turned Catholic, and now he's the best Catholic in the world. My mother can't really go anymore because she's in a nursing home. But once in a while, I stopped at the church to visit him with him and to go to Mass myself because I struggle. Which way do I go? You know, the guys on TV are great. I relate to what they say, and I want to listen to them, and I write down, take notes all the time, and then I think, well, I should do my duty to the Catholic Church. So that's my struggle. But the real thing that's going on is Dad kisses a woman outside a church in the parking lot, or sometimes inside. I don't know, but I think this has been going on for years, and my one sister said, yeah, I know, I see it, and we just don't know what to think about it. Is it just, sometimes, I mean, when I saw it, it looked like it lingered a little bit too long, you know, like the woman is married with 16 children. They're Irish Catholics, and, you know, I just kind of want to put that to rest.
So you think this is more than just greeting her with a holy kiss? I mean, this is, I don't know.
Maybe now I feel like a fool.
No, because...
It's a fair question, John. It's a fair, there's an old joke that says, what's the difference between a holy and unholy kiss? And the answer is about 10 seconds. But the issue that you're confronting is...
not a 10-second kiss.
It's okay, good. I'm glad it's not a 10-second kiss, but you do have concerns about how long it is and the quality, if you will, like what's going on between the two of them. Have you ever directly asked your dad?
It's a hard thing to do. It's really, his dad was a Protestant, and the Protestants kind of beat him up, so he became a Catholic, and his dad left for Florida because he was a bricklayer. And when my dad was 5, so they kind of beat him up at the church up in Hazleton, PA, where they're from. And so anyway, the other thing was.
Well, wait, John, hold on. John, hold on a second.
Okay.
Because the question I asked was, have you ever directly asked your dad about this relationship with this woman? Then you told me about his relationship with his dad, his relationship with the church, his dad leaving when he was 5 to move to Florida, but nothing about whether. And it's okay to say no. I've never asked him directly. That's okay. But I didn't hear a direct answer to the question. You're on the verge of asking him. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha. And you said one of your sisters. Sorry, go ahead.
Right, and she said something to the lady, and nothing really came out of it. But the thing is,
one of your sisters confronted the lady?
Yeah.
Okay. And her response was what?
I don't remember that part. It was like she kind of like blew it off. So we're like going back and forth once in a while. We don't know what to think. Can we get past this? But when we were a kid, he would stop and see Mrs. So-and-so, who was within school, Catholic school with us. And then when I came back from California, I spent 30 years in Newport Beach area. And my mom cried to me that Dad kissed one of the waitresses at a bar downtown that they were having dinner at, and right in front of her in her face. And my mom cried, real tears to me. So it's real to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
It's sort of real to us. It is and it isn't. We don't know what to think. We just want to get past it. And
it sounds like, John, you just want it to go away. Your parents are older. When you keep saying, I just want to get past it, but it keeps showing up. And it sounds like it's shown up for years. And there are men that are like, greeters, and they treat women like, every woman should be kissed. And I don't know if that's it or if it's more specific to where he's indulging himself with other.
Well, when I first came back from California, she yelled at him a lot. She was still at home. She's only been there for 2 years now. But I was defending my father. I said, Mom, you don't have to yell at Dad because he's putting your Pyrex the wrong way up in the thing. He just doesn't know how to do it, okay? So, that was her way of teaching, was yelling, So I guess he goes elsewhere for love. It's the only thing we can come up with.
So is he getting physical with any of these women other than the kissing, as if that wasn't bad enough? Do you know of any affairs he's had or anything?
No, not that we know of. Well, there's one a long time ago, many, many years ago, and I really don't want to. It was when he was in the Navy, but nobody knows that I know. So it's my secret that I've been keeping for many years, 70 years, for 50 years now. I've been keeping this secret. That when he was going to, a lady that I dated worked with one of his friends that he was in the Navy with. And they went out together to, I won't say where, but it was on a naval cruise. And there were 2 other women involved. Mm-hmm. And that's my own personal.
So maybe your mom has carried this also. Mm-hmm. And that the yelling at Dad over the Pyrex is the resentment that has leaked out. Because, your parents may be from the era where women just, put up and shut up kind of thing, right?
And
as long as the men stayed.
From what I know, she has never touched another man in her life, from what we know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, since 1950, when they got married, May of 1950.
But why?
So, sorry, go ahead, Jill.
Well, but I'm wondering why you are so fearful in bringing this up to your dad and that you've carried this secret.
Because he used to whip me.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you are scared of him. Yeah, because no matter how old you are, there's a little boy in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not very successful in my life. I had 20 years of sobriety, and I just blew it up.
Oh.
And now I'm back again. I'm trying again.
Yeah.
And I did it by running away and going to Newport Beach and living there. And I started there, and I got sober, and I went to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, and there, and the Holy Spirit Catholic Church. I went back and forth, and I loved both places, and I survived on my own, and lived with a girlfriend for a while, and then that wasn't working out, and then she passed away, about 12 years ago, and then I came back here, and I never really had a chance to marry her. I was going to, but she was still married, so that didn't work, and it's like, I'm just like, am I ever gonna... Like that movie about the guy that's fat. Did I ever do anything, one thing in my life, did I ever do right?
Yeah.
My question,
there's a lot of pain, John.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hurt. I mean, we can hear it, and it's, of course, because you've experienced some tremendous loss, the losing of this loved one, this person that you wanted to marry, were planning to marry. The loss as well of what you dreamed, what you hoped for in a relationship with your father, but he never was able or chose not to be that dad, that loving, caring, kind father. Instead, he was abusive towards you. There's been so many losses, and there's so much pain in your heart, and we oftentimes will choose to self-medicate that pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, with alcohol, with drugs, with sex, whatever, right? So, but let me
feeling I get from those actions.
Yeah, because we're all wrapped up in shame. A lot of people don't realize that that's the seedbed for our addictions, is all of this shame that we carry around, and we keep trying to medicate the shame with the acting out behavior, whatever it is. But it only heaps more shame on us. And so it's an endless cycle. We go round and round and round. So John, one thing I would encourage you to do is, if you're not already, is to look at doing some individual counseling or some group work with regard to the alcoholism. I think that's going to be important, especially around the question of shame. But to the question that you called in for, there's two concepts that we have to consider. One is the morality of whether or not it's okay for dad to give this woman at church a kiss, if it's culturally acceptable, all of that. But then the second thing, and if he's the best Catholic in the world, which I didn't know they gave rankings on that, but if he's the best Catholic in the world, he should know that Scripture teaches that Paul said, listen, there are things that are lawful for me to do, that are permissible for me to do, but I choose not to do them out of consideration for others. Okay, so your dad, one of the things he has to wrestle with is, even if it's morally, if God was like, you know what, totally okay for you to kiss this woman at church or in the parking lot. If it's creating pain for your mom, then it's something that he should choose not to do, even if he believes that it's permissible for him. As a loving brother in Christ, he would choose to abstain from that behavior because it's causing her to stumble. And so I would approach the conversation that way with him, if you can.
He brings gobs of dark chocolate to the lady at the front desk too. So this is kind of like a pattern that I see, and we all. There's
a lot of extra relationship with this woman that he does, extra attention that he gives to this woman that he doesn't give to all of the other women at church.
So this woman at church, I mean, she must be flattered or something that a 94-year-old man is paying attention to her. She's had 16 kids, I think John said. So I don't know if maybe she just sees, oh, he's harmless. He's not, going to do anything. Man. Yeah.
Who's being kind.
Right.
Well, and we do know that as men age, often they lose their filters right? So you will see more sexual advances later in life. But I think some of this has been a lifelong pattern. Maybe it's just more overt now.
Dr. Jill, you've written a book called Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. Should we send this to John?
Sure, John. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of stuff that's a much bigger question than what's going on with your dad right now.
Yeah, because his question that he called in with was completely different than what was revealed.
Right.
After spending some time with John. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So stay on the line, and we will send you a copy of that book. It's also available for purchase on the New Life store at newlife.com. Time to take a break. We will be right back here on New Life Live. Brian Perez here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and JJ West. newlife.com to find out what we do and why we do it.
What a New Life course is it's around a topic led by a professional licensed counselor coach with a small group of 8 or 9 people on a weekly Zoom call. You're going to go through the information, but also connect as a group. Those group processes make all the difference in the world. And so we have created New Life courses so that you can experience that on a weekly basis. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful. And it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us. So you can sign up right away with 8 or 9 slots open. They're going to go quick. And so you want to call today and get registered.
Begin your transformation in April with a New Life course. Lose it for life, grief recovery, or divorce recovery. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We really would love to hear from you here on New Life Live, so call us up or get in touch with us by going to our website, newlife.com, and following us on social media. Antonia, we're going to get to you in just a moment, but first, I want to remind you all that the Every Man's Battle Intensive is coming up February 28th in Orange County, California. Here's what one attendee said, and JJ West would love to hear your thoughts on this. This person says, I've struggled with pornography most of my adult life. I thought when I got married or became a dad, it would disappear. But with added responsibilities, it became more of an escape. And like any drug, it took more and more to satisfy my habit. When my wife discovered my sins, she was devastated, and the damage it did to our marriage was tremendous. When I attended Every Man's Battle, it gave me so much hope that I could actually beat this unwanted behavior. My wife and I are still together, thank the good Lord. Every Man's Battle helped give me the tools I needed to be a better, more godly man and husband. JJ, what do you think of that thought? Like any drug, it took more and more to satisfy my habit.
Absolutely, it does. With any addiction, we build up what's called a tolerance. Whether it is a mood-altering substance like alcohol or marijuana or heroin, or it's a mood-altering behavior like gambling or shopping or sex. We build up a tolerance where, and there's neurochemical components to this. There's an emotional component to this, a relational component to this. But we build up a tolerance so it takes more of the same drug or we have to branch out into harder drugs to try to reach that same high that we had at the beginning. We never actually get back. Neurochemically, we never get back to that high that we had at the first hit, but we try to get close and we keep going up. And so what starts off as like a little eyedropper amount of, let's say, dopamine in our brain, as we add more and more and more, we get to a place where it takes like a bucket of dopamine to try and get the same response. I see that in my own life. What started off as in elementary school, looking at porn every once in a while for a few minutes at a time. By the time I was in middle school, I was looking at pornography for hours almost every single day. And it also branched out into harder drugs in terms of sexual addiction as well, which we don't have time for right now. But I've seen it in my own life, certainly seen it in the lives of my clients and participants at the Every Man's Battle Intensive. And that's why we do the intensive, is to help guys break free from something that feels like it has this stranglehold on their lives.
JJ, why do you think some guys will, I mean, maybe they think it's just something harmful that they're not going to get addicted to. Maybe they've been viewing porn for years or whatever, and it's just something they do every now and then. But then there's people who it just becomes that stranglehold, that foothold that just kind of attacks them and does not let go, no matter how old they become. You know, they could be senior citizens and still deal with this. So why are there two different types of people?
Well, so it may be that person who only deals with it on a, every once in a while. It's just kind of a bad habit, but it's not something that is as habitual as the second guy that you referenced. They may have addictive behavior in another area of their lives. So it may not be that they're all that different. It may just be that they're experiencing this addictive personality in different capacities, different areas of their lives. But there is some research to point to that some people have a more addictive wired brain than others. And I mean, certainly if you look at my life, that's been the case. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of prone to being addicted to something all the time. And whether that's sex or sugar or exercise or you name it. And we talk about that at the workshop, that it's not just, I want to get to a place where I cease this behavior. I actually have to learn how to do relationship well, so that I don't just replace the behavior with something else, even something that might be more socially acceptable, like exercise or work. But if I'm engaging in that at an addictive level, I'm still not going to be connecting with people at a real level.
Yeah, Dr. Jill.
Right. It's a way of coping, and you're right. Some people do everything excessively. Right? Yes. And yes. That's that addictive personality. Other people may have problems, like let's say with drinking, but they're able to reel it back. So they have problems, right, but they don't go into full-blown addiction. Right?
Correct.
But
Correct.
You're right. It all goes back to intimacy and relationships and learning how to cope in healthy ways.
That's right. That's why in AA, right, our friends in AA would say the phrase is, one drink is too many, 1,000's not enough. We could say one click is too many, 1,000's not enough in terms of online pornography, or one bed is too many, 1,000's not enough, right? Because there are some people who, once they start down that path, they cannot stop themselves. And so it's a different way of relating to the world, because I am using this behavior to unhealthily cope with my emotional pain, my relational pain, or maybe even physical pain.
So again, the Every Man's Battle Intensive is happening February 28th in Orange County, California. It's the whole weekend. You can find out more about it at newlife.com. But if you are struggling in this area, don't wait till February 28th. That's still like 5 or 6 weeks away. You can get help now. We have a podcast called Every Man's Battle. It's available on the New Life Ministries YouTube channel. newlife.com has links to all of our resources, including details on how to register for the intensive and how to get this podcast, which is now in season 2. Okay, Antonia, for sure. We'll get to you when we come back.
New Life Ministries saved my completely broken marriage.
No matter how much hurt you've had to face, no marriage is beyond hope. At New Life Ministries Intimacy and Marriage Weekend, licensed counselors will help you rebuild communication skills and renew your commitment to each other.
You're building authentic intimacy, and you're learning how to connect on an emotional and relational level. You're learning how to listen. You're learning how to identify those core patterns that get in the way of good relationship.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 14th to the 16th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
3.5 years later, we're still going strong. I would encourage anybody who's struggling in their marriage to go. They are more effective than anything else we tried.
Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
I'm Brian Perez here with clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard and licensed marriage and family therapist J.J. West, who's joining us from back east. And we're going to go back to the phones here. Antonia, who's listening to us in Washington, D.C. on WAVA. Thank you so much for holding for a super long time. You get me talking about something, and I forget that there's people who want to talk to us, too. So my apologies, Antonia. How can we help you today?
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for having me. I'm so blessed to have you right here. It's wonderful. I have a question, please. I've been hacked by my phone for almost 6 years. This is my 14th phone, and each time that I bought one, they would take it and keep me out of internet and be using it. As a Christian, and there's certain things that will happen, you don't want to blow it up or whatever. You have to let God lead you and all that. But the one that really is getting to me, even if I didn't say much, even if a lot of people knows what is going on, is I am the fifth sibling of my family. And out of 7, 1 is left. The rest is dead. I lost my parents. It's just me and my only brother. So I'm in U.S. with my 3 children. They're all grown. Then my brother is, after my mom died, she was a really supportive thing in my life that helped me to go through all as a single woman. So but that my brother that is left lives in Africa. His wife died. And he has 3 children, and I'm the one who has been taking care of them since the children, their mother died. So I am the only support, even if I'm struggling. But when you have family in Africa, you're not just here by yourself. You have to also open doors for them as well as a lot of support. So when I lost my job last year, lost my everything. In short, didn't have much. But end up having help with some clinic, which helped me to get where I live now. I almost got homeless. But as a little you have to share with a little bit with your family. So my brother is back home with those children. And after they hacked my phone, I can barely get in touch with him. They took my phone, the numbers, and kicked me out. The last one I have right now, I'm trying to get myself together just a little bit to call my brother. He's been trying to get in touch with me. The people hack me, will not let him talk to me. Emotionally, with taking care of 3 children without their mother, and he's a widower. And I lost almost my siblings. Sometimes it's so hard to handle all this. As living over here in U.S., I just wanted, even if I'm trying with God, because I'm a Christian, I'm not in the world. I'm a Christian. I go to church. Even whoever doing this knows my weakness, which is all this that is going on. So they're using it one way or the other to block me from me having a relationship with my family. And it's kind of one of those things with all my stories and everything. They know my weakness. They're using it to torment me somehow.
Do you have a support system here in the United States?
Really, the only system I have, the government, because I was almost homeless, but the clinic that I was going, which is some clinic, they helped me through, get a unit where I'm staying right now. Because the government, yes, helping me to get a place where I'm staying now. But because of my phone issue, I'm not even at church. They block me from church. They block me with friends. There was a topic that they said about empathy. Yes, empathy. It didn't stop me from all going on. I still have a friend that don't have nobody. We were friends for almost 20 years. I leave my issue. I even go there to help them. But still, that stopped me most is my brother who is over there. When I call him, they will block me from talking to him because my phone is hacked.
So, Antonia, I'm wondering if you have friends at church, because it sounds like, you're finding a way to get help and assistance, but I'm wondering about emotional support. I think it's really important wherever we are. And I'm so sorry, all the issues with the phones, and as far as we've advanced in phones, it's still problematic. And especially if you're on the verge of being homeless and then trying to deal with a phone situation can be really difficult. But we all need people around us. And your family is so far away. And I hear that, your desire is to be connected and to help each other. Sometimes we have to start where we are. We start with a support system in our church family that cares about the hurts and the struggles. And maybe if you're being blocked in reaching, maybe someone else could make a call for you that might go through. And help you in reaching family that way. Because certainly with limited contact, it's hard to be there for each other. There is always the old-fashioned way where we write a letter, right? And it takes time, but it's what we all used to do. And sometimes, you don't have to worry about the static on the phone or getting cut off, but you can express more your heart's desire that way. But one of the things here at New Life is we always talk, like one of our number one things is we all need connection. We cannot be isolated in this world because then our problems mount and it leaves us vulnerable.
Yeah. JJ?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Jill. It's going to be vital, Antonia, that you are connecting regularly with your friends at church, and possibly the church being the resource where you can go and make those calls back home to Africa. Hopefully they would have the resources to allow you to do that. But like Jill said, writing letters would be another step that you can take to stay connected, because it is important. It's important that you maintain and build on those relationships that you have with your brother and with his children. I think I heard you say, Antonia, that you have children of your own that you raised here. And so I would also encourage, if I did hear you correctly, reach out to them. If they don't already know, let them know what's been happening with the phone, and see if they could be a resource as well, not only for the emotional support, right, that you've got people who are caring for you, but also maybe they would have a way to reach their uncle where they could bring you in on that call or video conference or whatever as a way to maintain that relationship with him. But you're absolutely right. Jill, it's going to be vital. It's vital for all of us to have connection. But man, when you're living in another country and you're that distant from your family, it is absolutely vital that you work on those relationships. So, Antonia, I'm glad that you are a believer. I'm glad that you have a church that's helping you in terms of getting the government assistance, but it's also going to be important that that's a resource for your emotional health, your emotional connection with others.
Right. And maybe even, I'm still stuck on the letter writing, being able to email, either it's at the church or a lot of times at libraries, you can email on their computers and things. So,
yeah, the one thing I was thinking, worst case scenario, Antonia had all of this information in her phone. And because she can't get in her phone, she can't get phone numbers, mailing addresses, email addresses, etc. We depend so much on our devices nowadays. We were talking off the air just a few minutes ago before the program that nobody memorizes each other's phone numbers anymore. There's no need for that. Mailing addresses, all that, forget it. Everything is in our phone, so there's no need to memorize anything. But
until something like this happens.
But also, if we go to the phone store, sometimes we can get our information downloaded.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and print it out.
Back up.
Yeah. Write things down on paper. Jill was just talking about, sending a letter, but there's
I love paper and pen.
Oh, I do too.
It's also good for our brains when we do handwriting.
Yes. So much we can say about that. We can do a whole session on the importance of reading and writing and arithmetic. Well, maybe
cursive.
Not. Yeah, but cursive, yes. I heard recently that somebody's paying big money for people to translate cursive. Maybe translate isn't the right word, but because it's become like such a lost art form that people are seeing these old letters and things from hundreds of years ago, and they're like, we don't know how to read this. But
our heart does go out to Antonia.
Yes, it does.
In her separation and loss there.
Yeah. Man, that is tough. So everybody, keep Antonia in your prayers, and maybe her family will reach out to her, because maybe they're realizing, how come we haven't heard from Antonia for quite a while? Maybe it's time that we try to contact her. We have her address. Let's write her a letter or call her, or, well, calling's not going to work, but there are different ways. So maybe you listening know Antonia. She needs your help right now, and maybe you can assist. Okay, we're going to take a break here on New Life Live. We'll be back in a little bit with a question that was sent in to us online through newlife.com/radio. That's another way that you can get your question to us.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and
it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
If you are a regular listener of New Life Live and not yet part of Club New Life, would you join today? We're trying to get 5 new Club New Life members every day, and you can help us today. Our Club New Life family sees the needs of our callers, and they've responded by providing monthly financial support. No matter the size of the monthly donation, it all helps to reach out to the one who needs hope. We would love to have, like I said, at least 5 every day, and if you can be one of them, that would be great. You can call us up at 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to our website, newlife.com, and there's a lot of great advantages to being a member of Club New Life, and you can find out all about them at newlife.com. Okay, so we are going to get to a question that was sent in online, because that is a way that you can get your question to us when you can't call us here at 1-800-229-3000. You can go to our website, newlife.com/radio, and that shows the different ways that you can get your question to us. So Dr. Jill Hubbard and JJ West, here's the question that was sent in from Mindy, who listens to us on the podcast. And yeah, that's another way that we get out into the community nowadays, through podcast, and you can find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Mindy writes, is it okay to be done with a relationship with my father? I've been estranged from my father for at least 15 years. He was abusive to my mom. She passed away from dementia 12 years ago. A doctor told us that her dementia was likely caused by the physical abuse, including hits to the head, that she endured for 40 years of marriage. My father was also mentally abusive on a daily basis. He is in denial about his abuse. He has never accepted blame for anything. He believes he's a great dad because he provided financially for us and would like us all to just move on and leave the past in the past. I don't believe that I'm honoring my father, but I fear that if I were to try and repair the relationship, I would continue to be deeply wounded by him. You guys, what do you think? What would your advice be to Mindy?
Well, I would agree with her assessment that she will likely continue to be hurt if she is trying to repair the relationship, because up to this point, at least from her description, Dad is unwilling to admit his own fault. He's unwilling to look at his own brokenness, which would be a necessary ingredient for reconciliation. Now, can she forgive him without him moving? Absolutely. Can she move on with her life and live in a healthy way without him doing anything? Sure. But in terms of reconciliation, for there to be full reconciliation, it would require him to own his own sin, his own brokenness. And if he's not willing to do that, and you're needing him to do that emotionally, mentally needing him to at least admit that he did wrong, then yeah, you're going to encounter more pain, because up to this point he has denied any wrongdoing. So is it okay for you to be done with the relationship in terms of having healthy boundaries that say, until you're willing to own your brokenness, Dad, I'm not willing to have conversations with you. I'm not willing to pretend this didn't happen. Absolutely, that's okay.
Jill?
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I do think we need to send her my book on forgiving our fathers and mothers, because this is a more extreme situation, Mindy, in that I always think estrangement is not the best thing for any family or for any relationship. unless it's super extreme. So you've been estranged for 15 years, but it sounds like there's some contact because he's wanting everybody just to move on and forget, and he's in denial. Love everything, JJ, you said about difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. My concern is for Mindy. So, Mindy, I think, and I'm hoping that you have gotten into therapy to deal with the abuse that you suffered and the loss of your mom, to really deal with those issues so you can be clear. And then you can decide, to what degree do I want to have relationship with my father, and what would that look like? For some people, it might be 0, but is there an in-between? Does it have to be all or nothing, where we just forget the past, we move on as if it never happened, or we cut him out completely? So if we go off the premise, we trust people to the degree that they are trustworthy, or we're in relationship to the degree that we feel safe and not constantly triggered, then there's some variations in between the all or nothing. So maybe you send him a Christmas card every year. Maybe once in a while you'll talk to him in writing only. You have to decide what is indicative of how you feel about the relationship. But are you obligated to carry on with him out of his need? No, you get to decide now. You're an adult.
Right.
And you get to decide how much or how little relationship you would like with him when, as JJ said, there's been no repentance or acknowledgement on his side. And I think it is good to make that clear, right? I need you to own certain things in order for me to move forward with you. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like we're having a real relationship.
What would you say is the definition of honoring your mother and father, especially when, in the adult years, and there has been this kind of abuse in the past? The Bible tells us to honor our father and mother. What does that mean?
And I actually have a chapter on that, or we have a chapter on that in the book that I co-authored. So I like the idea of we honor, a position. You may not like who is our president now or before, but you honor the position of president, right? But when it comes to our parents, we don't honor what isn't honorable. So you don't honor abusiveness, right? That's not what you honor. And I think with parents, what we do is we become a more honorable person ourselves. So sometimes we may choose to do the right thing by someone, if we feel safe enough, who has done us wrong. But we are being the bigger person in that, and we work on our ability to be an honorable person.
JJ, any
and that's the way we honor them.
Yeah, and we can be thankful for what they did well. So she can be thankful that he provided for her.
Yeah.
She can be thankful that she exists because her mom and dad
the sperm donor.
were married, right? Like I can look for things to be thankful for and to honor this person, like Jill said, the position. But that doesn't mean that I now honor or tacitly agree with everything you do or everything you say or everything you believe. Because, again, my higher authority is to honor the Lord, is to honor what he says is good and what is true and what is noble. And so I'm not going to, in the same way that, I'm not going to break my vow to the Lord to honor him because I'm going to honor something that you did as a father or a mother that was dishonorable, like abuse, like affairs, like dishonesty.
So that was Mindy. Thank you so much for writing in. And again, the book that Dr. Jill Hubbard co-authored, it's available on the newlife.com store, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. You might want to pick that up. Again, it's available at newlife.com. We're just about out of time on today's program. We'll be back next time taking your calls at 1-800-229-3000. If you're listening to us on a podcast, make sure to rate us 5 stars. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can click that like button because it helps to get, that whole algorithm thing, which I don't quite understand how it works, but it gets our resources more out there, the videos suggested and everything, and more people get helped. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE, but when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.